I'm excited. I think this is probably the fourth session over the last month. And so I've really been enjoying these and touching t-shirt brand owners and product owners as well. What I'm finding is it's not just people who own t-shirt brands that are signing up, people like Javon who has Pillow Thangy, people who have barbecue sauces, coffee products. And one thing that I'm realizing, not realizing, but one thing that I know and I want you all to realize is that I'm going to be teaching you a valuable skill that does not only have to apply to t-shirts, right? This skill and this framework and these fundamentals will allow you to be able to replace t-shirts with any product or service that you want to, right? And so I really want you all to be able to grasp these concepts, take them, and this is going to be the beginning of a brand new advertising journey that will allow you to be able to draw your ideal customer to your brand and get them to convert. And so I really look forward to this. This is such a powerful skill. I have a lot of skills within my toolbox that I've developed over the years, but by far Facebook and Instagram ads, if I had to start from zero, if I had about $100 in the ad account, I knew that I could probably build things back up. So I look forward to this. Thank you all for coming. I'm appreciative of you that we have crossed paths and we're here right now, and let's dive in. And so a couple of things to note. This is going to be recorded. So we are recording right now. And then when it's done this afternoon, the recording and the replay will be pasted within the learning portal. So you can always go back and reference it along with the training material that you received in the digital course. All right. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and share my screen, and we're going to dive into a couple of things here. Let me move this around. So today, Instagram and Facebook ads that generate sales masterclass, all right? And so we have an objective that we want to accomplish today. Number one, point A, this is where everybody is right now. You have never run Instagram or Facebook ads, or you have ran ads, but they haven't generated sales for your t-shirt business. And so this is where a lot of people on this call are at right now. But what we're looking to do, the whole purpose of this training is to upgrade your skill set and then also cause a transformation. And so what we're trying to do now is get you to point B, so you will have an ad framework and knowledge to market your products on social media and start converting visitors into customers, all right? And so one of the big things that, and the big themes that I really want to, put across to you all is you're one t-shirt away and you're one ad away from taking your brand to the next level. You don't have to have 100 different ads and 100 different t-shirts within your store to start gaining traction. All you need is that one. And what we're doing is we are in search for a winner. So because once you find that winner is going to drive a lot of traffic, is going to start converting some of that traffic into sales. And then when people get in your site and buy into those things, they'll start looking at your collection and be like, okay, I can buy this as well, right? But what we need is that winner and that one ad that will give us that leeway to be able to start amping up and increasing, our volume in the future. And so our together is to lay the foundation. Number two, to nail down the basics, right? And then walk before we run. What we're doing here is I'm going to give you a foundational framework that you can follow. There's a lot of things and a lot of tactics and strategies that we can use. But before we get to that specific level, we have to have a strong foundation. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to have a strong foundation. We're going to learn a framework and something to get you started. And then as we continue to move forward and press on, then there'll be additional strategies that you can learn in the future. So the way that we're going to, follow everything today, I've built this out really sequentially, and what we have is basically like a framework, okay? And we're going to follow like all of these steps. So first, number one, the number one checkpoint is going to be about identifying and gathering your assets, right? This is going to be about audience research, and then also identifying what do you already that you can utilize to be able to kickstart your ads at the very beginning. And so that's the beginning portion. The second part is going to be about creating custom audiences. After that, we're going to go into the meat of the presentation, which will be creating a cold audience campaign. We're going to go into building a cold audience ad set. And then we're going to go and talk about building the ads, okay? So we're going to go through all three of those, and those last three checkpoints go together. And then after that, we're going to talk about building build retargeting restructure, right? So this is going to be about people who come to our website and they don't buy. How do we stay in front of those people to bring them back? That's going to be super important. And then after that, we're going to talk about reading the metrics. And this is all about the numbers. We run ads, we're investing money into it. And so we have to know, are ads performing well or are they not performing well? And that's what the metrics is about. And then finally, at the very end, we're going to have some Q&A. There may be opportunities in between some of these checkpoints to be able to ask a couple of questions, but we don't want to spend a lot of time there. If you find that you do have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Feel free to write them down. And then when we get to the very end, we can have an in-depth Q&A right there, all right? So what will make the session amazing? Y'all just come in with an open mind. Let's have fun. Let's ask questions. Let's collaborate. There'll be an opportunity for a few guinea pigs for me to, give examples, certain parts of the presentation. So if you want to be a part of that, you can. And let's just have a good time. And then as far as materials, your laptop, Zoom, if you want to Google document or something to write notes, but don't feel like you have to write a ton of notes. Like I said, you'll be able to refer back to this presentation later on, so we should be good to go there. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's start at the number one checkpoint, which is gathering your assets. And like I said, when I talk about gathering your assets, what we want to do is identify our social media following and different, things that we can use to be able to help us with our targeting and finding our buying customers in the future. And so, what assets can be utilized? What do I mean when I say gather the assets? Well, number one, let's talk about our social media following. One thing to ask yourself is, how many followers do you have on Facebook, right? When you have followers on Facebook and on social media, what you're able to do is send ads to that specific audience. But just like in this last sentence here, if you have over 1,000 followers, what you can do is create lookalike audience, which is just another powerful way to be able to target your ideal customers. And we're going to talk about lookalikes in a little bit, but that's one of the things that I want you to look at. How many Facebook followers do you have? And then if you have over 1,000, okay? Secondly, how many followers do you have on Instagram? So same concept as Facebook. If you have about 2,000, 5,000 followers on Instagram, that is an asset, and you can use that later on for targeting and for lookalike audiences and really being able to laser target your buying customers. So that's the next one. Third, do you have a customer email list for your e-commerce store? Some of you may have been in business for a little bit, and maybe you have already found some traction. And if you find that you have a customer list, that can be very, very powerful. And like I said, you can create lookalike audiences off of that, which we will get into later on. But this is just something right now of noting if you have that customer list or not. And then finally, do you have an email, lead, or newsletter list? A lot of the times on our websites, we have opportunities for people to opt into an email list or get a newsletter. And when you start building up that list, that can really be a valuable asset for your marketing later on. So kind of take note of those to see if you have any of those four: Facebook, Instagram, customer list, or like a lead generation list, okay? The next thing that I want you all to take note of is starting with the end in mind, okay? A lot of the times when we build our businesses, people will build things because you like it, because it resonates with you in a certain way. But a lot of the times we'll build things and then we go out into the marketplace and say, okay, I have this wonderful idea, these wonderful t-shirt brands, but who wants to buy them, right? And sometimes that can be backwards, and it can actually be a disaster, and be a waste of money and time spent. So what we want to do is start with the end in mind when we talk about running ads, okay? And so these are some questions that I want you to be asking yourself. What target market are you trying to reach, okay? Who are the people? And when I say target market, I'm not just talking about age and gender, right? I'm talking about a little more than that. So let's go down to question 2. What interests do they have? Whether it's actors, TV shows, political groups, music, travel activities, professions. What are the things that they are interested in, okay? Also, what is the mindset of my audience, right? Are they into self-development? Do they read books? Do they have a growth mindset? Are they all about education? Like, what are the things that they are thinking, right? That is going to be very important, because when we start trying to speak to that specific audience or that specific primary customer, we have to have language that's going to really resonate with them. And so that's why understanding their mindset is going to be important. Also, where can I find these people on social media? It's one thing to know, okay, I know who these people are and I kind of understand what their mindset is and their thought process is and what they're interested in. But if I can't find them, that doesn't even matter. So we have to have clear tactics as to how we can find these people. And we're going to talk about that next, whether it's social media pages or groups and different things like that. And then number 5, like I said, what social media pages do they follow, right? That can be on Facebook and Instagram. And then finally, what content have they responded to? There are a lot of clues on social media when you type in your niche or whatever your brand is related to, where you can easily just type that in within social media. You're going to get a lot of results, like on Facebook, of basketball or baseball or somebody who sews or knits, you know, different things, whatever the niche is. And you'll start getting an understanding of what posts people like and what people are commenting on. And that can give you a lot of cute clues as to what to create, so you can be able to find those people when you start running your ads. So those are going to be some very important things to really think about as well. Now, the next thing is, as far as finding out, you know, ideas and what your audience is interested in, there's going to be an exercise that we're going to go into right now to start figuring that out. And basically what it's called is audience insights. And what I'm going to do is navigate over to my business manager right now. And what you're looking at on this specific screen is, this is the business manager. This is where we run ads. This is where all the magic happens, right? Within business manager, this is what you're going to get to learn through this specific training, but then also in the digital course as well. And to get here, it's just business.facebook.com. Don't feel like you have to log in right now, but just want to show you this. And so within business.facebook.com or the business manager, we have all these different selections, right? But one of the selections and one of the things that we can choose within Business Manager is called Audience Insights. And basically what we can do is in Audience Insights is we can take age groups, we could take interests, we can input different characteristics of our customer avatar into Audience Insights. And what it's going to do is going to output and give us ideas of who we could target or what we could target to find our audience later on in the future. So if we come down here and you look on the left-hand side, what we have is location, right? Then we have age, then we have gender. Then we could come in here and put like different interests, and we could put all of this data in, and then what it's going to do is spit back out some additional ideas that we can use as intel to be able to find our customers later on. So for this specific exercise, what I would like to do, if anybody is interested, feel free to show your screen, put yourself on unmute, and what we can do is kind of find some interests that are related to your specific brand. So does anybody want to be a guinea pig here and kind of, be an example? Anybody want to?
Hey, so I do screen printing and direct-to-garment printing.
Okay.
So my main purpose is to try to funnel people to my website so they can go there to upload their own pictures or design their own artwork that I can print and ship. Right.
So what type of customers do you have? Like, are they churches? Are they sports leagues? What's going on there?
Well, actually, I actually just started the website, so this is like ground level.
Got it. Okay, got it. Makes sense. So with you are you servicing just the local area? Are you selling pretty much all over the US? What's the area?
Well, I'm looking just all over the US, just wherever, because I can print and ship anywhere. So it doesn't have to be in my area.
Got it. Sounds good. So what I would say for you, since you are more service based as opposed to having your own t-shirt brand, there's different ways that you can go about it. Number one, as far as choosing, like you said, you want to do it all over the United States, which is fine. When we come down here to like age group, one thing that you could possibly do is choose, you have to, a lot of the times it gives us 18 is like the minimum that we can choose as far as like age group. But what we want to do is put that up a little higher. Usually I like to put it around 25 years old, just for the simple fact that these people have debit cards, credit cards. 18-year-old may not have the ability to pay. So we don't want to directly advertise to them. They might have to reach out to a parent or something. So moving it up to about 25 plus is probably fine. You don't really have a cap because you can service anybody. And then the next thing is, it would probably be important for you to be able to choose like, a specific niche. So your ads, the same ad that you market towards somebody that is like maybe a church group may not be the same ad that you market to maybe education, like school, like the school system. Like if there were schools that wanted to get shirts printed for different events. So one thing that you could possibly do for audience insights is like choose, just like teachers, right? Maybe the first thing we put in here is like teachers, and we come up and we say, whatever this is, National Teachers College. Maybe not that one. I don't like that one. Let's see. If we put teachers pay teachers. So I know for sure teachers pay teachers. This is kind of like a place where I think teachers can upload some of their maybe curriculum or different things that they put together to teach their students. And then other teachers can go on that website and buy them. So if you were to target like teachers pay teachers, and then we come over here to this page like section, what's going to happen is when we come down to the bottom, it's going to spit out a lot of different options that we can target on Facebook and Instagram, like Miss Winner's Bliss, Get Your Teach On, Tuntel's Teaching Tidbits. Like there's a lot of things that populate. And then you can easily use some of these interests at the bottom to be like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and target Learning in Wonderland. I'm going to send an ad to them to say, okay, are you a teacher? Do you have special events like fun days or field trips that you need t-shirts for? Well, my specific company prints, print shirts for you. Come to the website, upload your info, and we can take care of it. Or come to the website and enter, do you take leads? Like, do you have them enter in information in a form, like their phone number, what they need? Like, how do you take?
This is actually a design studio. So you can go to my website and design a logo, create a design, or you can upload a photo.
Got it.
And design your own t-shirt.
Got it. And you do the print, and then you do all the printing, right?
Correct.
Got it. So, perfect, just like that. They can come in, design whatever they do, and then you print out the t-shirt. But this is one way that you could easily target teachers, right? If there were like church groups, like what church do you go to? Or do you listen to like any big pastor or anything like that? Or maybe that's not your lane.
But TD Jakes, I go to Concord or New Birth in Dallas. So
got it. Okay, got it. So, right. So TD Jakes, right? So you can enter in TD Jakes, right? And then, with TD Jakes, like Pastor Jamal Bryant comes, or, Kim Burrell, or different things like that. And basically here, if you were just trying to maybe target like a Christian crowd, you could easily reach them by targeting some of these areas. But this is just a way to where you can input some interest. It'll give you some more ideas to be able to use later on in the future. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right, sounds good. So that's a great example there. Does anybody else want to be a guinea pig? Anybody with a t-shirt brand? So we kind of did the service side. Does anybody have like a niche down brand that you want to be?
I do.
Okay, is it a Molo?
Yeah, you just call me Lola.
Hi, Lola. Nice meeting you. Tell me about
too.
your brand.
Okay, so it's a Christian apparel brand. So we sell necklaces and t-shirts that appeal the Christian community. So like one of our shirts say "Made in Heaven, Assembled in Africa," and another one says like "Bad and Biblical" and things like that. So yeah.
Awesome. So yours, awesome. Thanks for sharing. So yours is very similar, right? So if we were coming in and we were trying to find out, what is a Christian audience and who we could target, we already had like TD Jakes, but say for instance, maybe we put in like, you know, Joel Osteen or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we come in here and we put Joel Osteen in. And then who is like, is there another like gospel singer or anybody like show? What comes to mind to you when you think about your audience and what they're interested in?
I feel like my audience is mainly mainly Black Christians.
Okay.
So I would say either a Black Christian famous person or an African Christian famous person.
Got it. Okay, got it. So let's so I see Creflo Dollar down there. I just looked at it. Creflo's in Atlanta. So I put in Creflo Dollar, right? And you know, first off, when we come over here to page likes at the very top, what it gives us is, you know, a few different categories. So we have like Christian church, public figure. Then we have like different churches. Then we have like tutor teachers that may be related to that interest. Then we have like radio stations. So Yolanda Adams, Donnie McClurkin, Tom Joyner. Then we have like books, TV shows, you know, so forth and so on. And then we come down here at the bottom and we have like all of these different options as well. And one thing that I want you all to know about this specific screen is that we have these different options. Then we have what we have here called relevance. And the higher the relevance means that it's the more closer related to the option that we input on the left. So we have Creflo Dollar that shows up. We have Creflo Dollar's wife, Taffy Dollar. So that comes at number 2 and then so forth and so on. But what we really want to pay attention to is the affinity, which shows up on the right-hand side. And basically what this affinity is, the higher that affinity is, then basically the closer the audience is related to Creflo Dollar, which we put over here on the left. So we have an 877, 876, that goes all the way down to 543. And then what we can do is it has the see more button at the bottom. We can click on that and it's going to give us a continue list. So as you look at this, Lola, are some of these other names and people kind of resonating? Do you know who they are? Juanita Byam, Donna Lawrence, CeCe Winans?
Yeah, Yolanda Adams. Yeah.
Got it. Good deal. So, you know, it gives us all of these different options. And so what I want you all to do, you know, when you start running your ads and when you start doing your research is basically I've created this specific screen for you, or this specific worksheet. And on this section of the worksheet, it has 15 to 20 interests, right? So as you're going through audience insights, what I want you to do is start finding 15 to 20 interests that are very closely related to your niche and just come down here and enter them in right here, okay? And so what you'll be able to do is when you start creating your ads, you can refer back to this list when you start trying to figure out targeting ideas. So if we come back over to audience insight, you know, these are all the different items that you could probably put in. And then the other thing that I want to show y'all about audience insights is not only does it give us like the page likes or interests that are closely related, also, you know, it gives us like demographics. So I put in Creflo Dollar. Basically, I'm going 25 and beyond. I'm doing men and women. And basically what it's doing is saying, okay, most of the people seem like they are between 45 to 54. The next highest group is 35 to 44. And then after that, it's 55 to 64. For the most part, it looks like maybe it's split half and half as far as men and women. And then when we come down, it'll give us, okay, are these people single? Are they married? Are they in a relationship? You know, did they go to college, high school, grad school? So that's all that information. And then it'll even give like certain job titles, you know, or job functions that specific audience has that we inputted on the left-hand side. So that's on the demographics tab. And then if we come over here to location, basically, you know, it'll give us different, you know, locations where most of the audience is located at. And then finally over here where it says activity, you know, it just gives us a little information about ads that have been clicked, what devices they're using, so forth and so on. So, you know, this is really powerful. What I tell everybody is Facebook and Instagram tracks so much data about us, it's ridiculous. They probably know more about us than we know about ourselves just based on our habits and how we utilize the platform or the social media platforms every day. And so it tracks all of that data. And really as marketers, it's valuable to us because it allows us to be able to put our messages, our products, and our services in front of the people based on the data that Instagram and Facebook have collected. So this is Audience Insights, very powerful tool, something that I suggest everybody go through and use as you start doing your audience research. And this is about sharpening your axe. You chop the tree, right? And so this is going to be sharpening your axe. And when we get to the ad part, you'll already be good to go. So you can start figuring out, okay, what type of creatives and what type of audiences do I want to target? So that is the audience research, and that's Audience Insights. And what I want to do is come down here. So basically what I was telling y'all is action and tasks. As far as one of the action and tasks that I want you all to take, find and follow Facebook and Instagram pages that are in your niche. So go to Facebook and Instagram, find 5 to 10. I want you to identify 10 posts that have a high level of engagement, and I want you to save them. And then I want you to look through all of those posts and those comments to see why people responded. And this is going to be important because as you start finding those pages that are closely related to your niche, and as you start going through their news to see which post did they put on, which post did they put up that are very popular, and a lot of people are commenting and sharing and liking them, that's going to give you some intel of t-shirts that you could possibly create in the future. So you can start getting an understanding, okay, this specific post has, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000 likes. It has a whole bunch of comments. Why did they like this? What was said on this, right? And you can start using that as ways to be able to create it into your own and attract people to your brand as well. So that's something I want y'all to do. And then last but not least, I want you to go to Google, type in your demographic, and then type in quotes. So whether it's baseball quotes or Christian quotes or sewing quotes or Black fatherhood quotes, whatever it is, I want you to put those things in and start figuring out, you know, different quotes that have been responded to a lot, because that's going to help you as well when you're doing all of your audience research. And then after you do that, one thing that I want you to do that'll be very important, and this is going to help you with your messaging when we start creating ads, is come up with a brand message statement, okay? And basically the way that this works is I created whatever your t-shirt brand name is or whatever your company name is, and this t-shirt brand is meant to be worn by who, okay? And then after that, my t-shirt brand has a purpose, and the number one message that I want my target audience to know about my brand is this, okay? And just to give you an idea of how I would use it, for those who don't know, I run a brand that's called Black Fathers Exist. And the whole premise behind Black Fathers Exist is to shine a positive light on Black fatherhood, to break the negative stereotypes, right? And to tell a new story. And basically when I put this out, what I would say for my brand is I created Black Fathers Exist, and this t-shirt brand is meant to be worn by Black fathers. My t-shirt brand has a purpose, and the number one message that I want my target audience to know about my brand is to keep doing your thing, keep holding it down for your family, keep fighting hard, being the provider and protector of your home. And regardless of anything that is being said, understand that you are a strong pillar of your family and keep doing your job as a great Black father. That's what I would put for my specific brand statement. So what you can do is replace those words in the brackets, put your specific t-shirt brand, the message of your brand, and your target audience here. That'll help give you some clarity, especially when we start writing out our brand statement, and that will help you later on, okay? So as far as gathering our assets and doing our target research, we've went through that. We've taken care of that. So are there any questions? I'll take two. Are there any questions that come up about that specific exercise? And if not, we can move on to the next checkpoint. Y'all let me know.
Yeah, I am trying to drive traffic to my Teespring store, so I have multiple niches.
All right.
And some of them are kind of faith-based, like some of the other people, and some of them are basically just funny, sarcastic quotes, like "nope" is one of them, you know, for the people who always say no. You know, I try to hit, because it's Teespring and you can do that, I try to get as much as humanly possible, you know?
Right.
So how would I go about, you know, obviously I'm only going to pick one or two to start with, you know, just to get traffic flowing. So Teespring's marketing can kick in and help me, and help me out a little bit.
Right.
Um,
So James, as far as, so I hear what you said. Like you said, faith-based, you have, more that, are funny. Like you said, the Nope and, just different statements and sayings. Are there other brands out there that are like, have you bought t-shirts that kind of have similar sayings, and other brands out there that kind of do the same thing? Do you have any ideas
I,
of those?
I, ha- I have, but it wasn't online. I was at
Right,
Walmart, and the little $4 t-shirts.
right,
I was like,
right.
hey, I needed some work shirts. I didn't want to spend a lot of money either.
Got it. So when it comes to those type of sayings, right? For you, it's going to be important to understand. Okay, number one, are there other brands out there? Are there other T-shirt companies that maybe have like similar? You have like a similar model that you could be able to reach out to. Number two, like especially like say for instance, it was funny, right? And it has something to do with comedy, and it was meant to be kind of just like a sly saying on a shirt. What you could possibly do for that is basically, it might be people that are very interested in humor. So maybe on that instance, what you could do is come up with, like Chris Rock or something. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So maybe a Chris Rock comes up, but then at the same time, maybe there's something like Comedy Central, right? Just depending on what the shirt says that maybe you put in, and then just things that of that are funny that may appeal to that specific audience. You can kind of target those and get ideas there. So even if I put in Comedy Central and Chris Rock, if I was to come over here to page likes, let's see what kind of stuff spits out for us here. So if we come down here to the bottom, so we put in Chris Rock, we have Cat Williams, I know another comedian, Cheech Marin. Does anybody know who Cheech Marin is? I don't know who that is.
Cheech and Chong.
Cheech and Chong. Okay, so let's see. Let's click. One thing about this, y'all, too, when we get these ideas and when it spits out this stuff here, what we can do is click on any of these, and what's going to happen is it's going to pull up the specific Facebook page, right? So we can come through and we can start getting an idea of what this Facebook page is about, would our audience really be interested in it? And then if they are, and we see that the content is in alignment with our niche, then we can go ahead and put it in our spreadsheet with those 50 to 20 interests. So that's what this is about, but highest quality CBD, Cheech Marin. So is it New Tech CBD? So I don't know. Maybe this is a CBD guy. I don't know if it's so much comedy,
They got famous by making marijuana related comedy. So
right, possibly, yeah. So yeah, only thing about that, it'll be hard to market anything on social media with that, but that's kind of how I would go about it. But it just all depends on your sayings, man. I mean, it depends, and we're gonna get a little further into finding interest later on, but it's truly gonna depend on what that t-shirt says. And I'm of the opinion, and it's always been important for me, because since you have so many different niches in Teespring, what you're going to do is you're going to have to spread your marketing dollars across all of those different t-shirts, as opposed to really zeroing in and allowing your marketing dollars to focus around one niche. But what you could do is, if you find like a saying, maybe you find a few other sayings or create a few other designs that are closely related to that one. And then when people come to your Teespring store, they'll be able to see all three of them together, and that'll give you a better chance as well. You know what I'm saying?
So far I've designed like 60. Obviously, they're not all uploaded yet, but I have like 60 designs ready to go, and a lot of them are kind of linked, because obviously with text-based, you get on the thread and you're like, okay, let's go.
Right. Exactly. So, no, that's a great question, and we'll get into a little more targeted exercise in a little bit, okay?
Okay, thanks.
All right, thanks, James. Okay, all right, y'all. So let me go back over to the roadmap, and let's continue on to the next step. So we have talked about identifying and gathering your assets and audience research. Now let's move into creating custom audiences, and we're going to talk about that a little bit, okay? So the very first thing that I want to bring up as far as creating custom audiences, there is a thing that is very important called a Facebook pixel. If you have heard of the Facebook pixel, give me a number 1 in the chat. If you have not, give me a number 2. Good deal. Okay, so most people have heard of the pixel. We have a couple of 2s. So let me just give you a quick explanation. Facebook pixel is a piece of code that goes on your website, right? And with this Facebook pixel is very, very powerful because anytime somebody comes to your website, Facebook is able to track all of their actions and then also just track those people. So for all the people that are here on this specific call, you all came to my T-Shirt Millionaires website. The Facebook pixel is on the website. When you got to the website, it tracked you. When you went to the product page, it tracked you. When it added to cart, it tracked you. When you started entering in, to go ahead and make the investment, it let me know that you have done that. And when you ended up purchasing, it tracks that information as well, right? And basically with this pixel, what it allows you to do is a couple of things. Number 1, anybody who has come to your website, what you're able to do is follow up with those people with ads, right? So we call that retargeting. So when somebody comes to your website, Facebook tracks it. And what we can do is send ads back out to those same people to bring them back if they didn't take a specific action the very first time, like buy. So you come to the website, you didn't buy. Basically, I can send an ad back out to you and say, hey, come back to the store, invest in this T-shirt, invest in this course, whatever it is. And that's what the pixel will allow you to do. Also, what this pixel does is it builds up data to be able to find your target audience better. So at the very beginning, you may not have any activity on this pixel because you haven't been sending people to your website. But the more people start coming to your website and the more people start adding to cart or even purchasing or whatever the action is, that pixel is going to become seasoned. It's going to have more data about more people. And then when you continue to start running ads in the future, it's going to have a better understanding of who to show your ads to. So this pixel is very, 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 very important. And if you have your own website, what you're able to do is put the pixel on the website. If you have other platforms like Teespring, I'm not exactly sure. James, do you know if Teespring accepts pixels, or Jay? Or I think it's James.
They do.
Okay, cool. So you can put it on there. And then there's other platforms like Viral Style, so forth and so on. So this is something that you want to make sure you do like immediately. This is one of the early steps that I teach you within the digital course. So if you don't have it, put it on. But this allows us to be able to create all of these custom audiences that I'm talking about. So if we go to this next slide, there's a few custom audiences that I'm going to want you to create at the very beginning. Number 1, IG engagement, okay? So anytime people who have engaged with your Instagram page, basically all of that data is tracked. And what I want you to do is create audiences for 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, and then 365 days or a year of anybody who has engaged with your Instagram business page, okay? And I'm gonna go and give you an example of how we create these, but I'm just gonna walk through these bullets first. Secondly, same exact thing as IG, Facebook engagement, 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, 365 days. I'm gonna want you to create these audiences for all 4 of those time periods. Then when we come over to the website visits, so anybody who has come to your website, I want you to create those custom audiences for 7, 14, 30, and 180 days or 6 months. And then the same thing for purchases, 7, 14, 30, 180, okay? So what I am going to do is we're gonna go back over to the business manager. And what I'm gonna do at this point in time is I'm going to click on this menu button. And then what we're gonna do is go down to audiences, okay? So we're gonna click on audiences and it's going to bring us to a screen that looks like this. All right, perfect. Okay, so this is where we create these audiences that I talked about. So you're gonna come over to audiences, and you're gonna see in the top left-hand corner, there's this button that says create audience, okay? So after that, you're gonna click that, and then you're gonna click on custom audience, all right? So I want you to click that. And then what you're going to see is all these different options. So based on several different things, we can create audiences based on that. So whether it's website activity or our customer list or videos that people watched, you know, there's a lot of things that we can do here. But what I want you to focus on first is Instagram business profile. So we're going to click on that, okay? And then you're going to come and we're going to see a screen that looks like this. And so basically at this point in time, you see where it says everyone who has engaged with your business over the last 365 days. And then right above that, what we can do is choose our specific business. So I do a lot of advertising and I've worked with different brands in the past. So I have a lot of pages here, but I'm going to choose mine, which is Black Fathers Exist. And then when I come down here to the bottom and I click on everybody who has engaged with your business, you're going to see that there's 4 different selections down here. So let's go ahead and look at each of them. The first one says anyone who has visited business profile. So anybody who has come to your business Instagram page, Instagram tracks that. And basically what we can do is create a custom audience off of that. Also, anybody who has engaged with any post or any ad. So if somebody liked or shared or commented on our ad or our post, then basically they're going to get put in this specific bucket. So we can create audiences around that. Also, people who have sent a message to your business profile. So if you've gotten any DMs on your business profile, Instagram tracks all of that data and you can create audiences off of that. And then last but not least, people who have saved post or ads. So if anybody has saved a post or ad, all of that data is tracked and we can create audiences off of that. So we have all 4 of these different buckets, but all 4 of these categories flow under everybody who has engaged with your business. So when we select this one, basically it encompasses all 4 of these as well. So what we're going to do is choose everybody who is engaged with the business. And then what we're going to do is on the first one, like I said, we want to do 7 days. So I'm going to click 7 days. And then I'm going to, down here where we have to name the audience, I'm going to click on, or I'm going to type engaged with IG dash 7 days, right? And then in the bottom right-hand corner, I can click on create audience. And I'm going to hit done. Oops, I don't know what happened there. I'm going to hit done. And then you'll see at the very top, this audience has been created. Now it still has to populate. And by populating, what it's doing is just taking everybody who has made one of those actions, whether they send a DM, they've engaged, they come to our profile, whatever they have done, and it's populating this audience with all of those people. So that's engaged with IG. So as I said, I want you to do 7, 14, 30, and 365. So what you would continue to do is go to create audience, click on custom audience. Then after that, you would click on Instagram profile. You would click on your specific Instagram page. And then as opposed to 365, on the days part, you would click on 14 days. And then down here, when you label it, you're going to do engaged with IG, 14 days. And then you're going to click on create audience, click done, and you're going to see I have engaged with 7, I have engaged with 14, and you're going to do the same thing for 30 and 365. And that takes care of it for IG. And then after that, what I want you to do is come back over to custom audience. And then as opposed to doing it for Instagram business profile, what you're going to do is click on Facebook page, okay? And Facebook page, everything is still similar. So I'm going to click on my Facebook page, which is Black Fathers Exist. And then after that, I'm going to click on everyone who has engaged with your page. And then under here, you're going to see some of the same options that we talked about for Instagram. People who have visited, engaged, click the call to action button, send a message, or people who have saved a post or an ad. So what we're going to do is click on everybody who is engaged, same exact thing. We're going to click on, we're going to type in 7 days. And for this one, we're going to do engage with Facebook, 7 days, create audience. We're going to hit done. And then we're going to have this audience created at the very top. And we want to do that for 14 days, 30 days, and then 365 days as well. So you're going to go through that process. The next one that we had is website visit. So we want to do 7, 14, 30, and 180. So we're going to come back over. click create audience, click custom. And then for this one, instead of Instagram and Facebook, what we're gonna do is click on website, all right? So when you click on website, what we're gonna do is you're gonna have all website visitors right here. We're gonna have the pixel that we already created. So this is gonna be the pixel that we're gonna use, right? And I have one for Black Files Exist, and your pixel will already be created prior to you doing this. And then what we wanna do is just change the time period. And then we're gonna say website visits, and we're gonna type in 7 days. We're gonna create that audience. We're gonna hit done, and you're gonna see that this is created at the very top, okay? So website visits 37 days. You wanna go through and do it for all the other time periods. And then the very last thing that we want to do is for purchases. Now, this is going to apply for anybody who has had purchases in the past and your pixel was already on your website. If you haven't had any purchases yet while the pixel has been on your website, then you're not going to be able to create custom audiences based on people who have purchased in the past. But later on, when you start getting customers and you start getting purchases, then you could come back and do this step. But basically, as opposed to clicking all website visitors, what we're going to do is type in purchase. We're going to do 7 days. And all I would do at this point in time is hit purchase. I would do 7 days. I would create the audience. I would hit done. And then that is taken care of. And then I would do it for all the other time periods. But these are going to be very important for you to go ahead and create the beginning, because as people start interacting with your Instagram page, as people continue interacting with your Facebook page, as people start coming over to your website, and whatever they do, whether they visit, add to cart, go to different product pages, whatever it is, that data is going to start tracking, and these audiences are going to continue to update so you can use them later on when you start running your ads in the future, okay? So that's why we want to go ahead and get these done and taken care of at the very beginning. But that is how you create your custom audiences before we get into the ad campaigns. So before we move forward to the next section, are there any questions that you have about creating these custom audiences?
I have a question regarding the website one. So
Yeah.
right now, I guess on a certain, I'm using Squarespace, but I'm gonna be moving to Shopify in like 2 months. Would I have to come back in and redo this, or how would that work?
Yep, so you wouldn't have to do it. So is the pixel already on your Squarespace, or do you not have it installed?
I'm not even sure.
I
I'd have to
got
go
it,
check.
got it. So say let's blah. Say for instance, it is already installed. All you have to do is install that pixel on Shopify. So, you know, basically if you create these and you move the pixel over to Shopify, then you won't have to come back and do anything. If you don't have the pixel already installed, that's perfectly fine as well. What you're gonna do is put that new pixel on your Shopify website, come in and create these, and you should be fine. So regardless of moving over whatever platform you use, it doesn't matter. You won't have to recreate it because all of this data is connected to your pixel. So you just need to make sure your pixel is on whatever website or platform you're using. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Absolutely.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
If you have created like a new Facebook business page, do you have to sign up to or get a new pixel for that page?
So do you have a pixel already created on your store?
For my former store, yes, but for the one I just kind of created, I have not done it.
Are these brands, you say former store, and I guess the new one, are the brands related, or are they just totally different niches?
Totally different niches. One was like a Christian clothing company. What I do now is just kind of like what I believe it was Jay said. Basically, I create all kinds of different things and I ship everywhere.
Okay, got it. Sounds good. So with that being said, so the pixel won't be related to your Facebook page, but what I would say is if you're creating a brand new store, you need to have a separate pixel for that new brand or the new company that you have. and have a separate Facebook page. And then when you go ahead and you create these audiences, you're going to create the website visit audiences based on this new pixel that's related to the new brand that you created. And then as far as the Facebook and the Instagram audiences, you're going to create it off of the new one that you created, not the old one. Since they're totally separate, go create new pages and new audiences and a new pixel for that new business that you have. Keep them separate. Does that answer your question?
It does. I have one follow-up question. Do you know if Etsy accepts the Facebook pixel?
I believe it does. So that might just be a quick Google or YouTube to see, but I believe that they do. I believe they do.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. Sounds good. So let's go into the next step of this. So we went through identifying and gathering your assets, and we've also talked about creating custom audiences. And now let's get into the meat of the presentation, which is creating cold audience campaign, building the cold audience ad set, and then also building our ads, okay? So checkpoint number 3, create cold audience campaign in the ads manager. So let's talk about the campaign structure, all right? And let's talk about how a campaign is labeled and structured so we can get a clear understanding before we start building it out.